The best thing you can do if you want to make art is pretend you're starring in your own remake of Groundhog Day. Yesterday's over, tomorrow may never come, there's just today, and what you can do with it.
Welcome to Philosopher Insights, the podcast that delivers wisdom in minutes a day that you can put into practice daily and strive to master over a lifetime.
The podcast committed to sharing ideas that encourage you to bridge the gap between who you are today and the person you aspire to be in the future.
Hi, my name is Herb Lamba, and welcome to my podcast where I will share practical insights from the world's best authors.
Knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is. The quest to become the best version of you starts right now.
Hi, and welcome to Philosopher Insights. My name is Herb Lamba. Today we're discussing Keep Going, 10 ways to stay creative in good times and bad. The author of the book, Kleon, and this book is published in 2019. I want to share a number of my favorite insights, starting with Every Day is Groundhog Day, Your Bliss Station, Creative is not a noun, Ignore the numbers, Pay attention, It's okay to change your mind, Walk to creativity, and finally, Keep going. So let's begin with the introduction. Quote, "A few years ago, I'd wake up every morning, check the headlines on my phone, and feel as if the world had gotten dumber and meaner overnight. Meanwhile, I'd been writing and making art for more than a decade, and it didn't seem to be getting any easier. Isn't it supposed to get easier? Everything got better for me when I made peace with the fact that it might not ever get easier. The world is crazy, creative work is hard, life is short, and art is long. Whether you're burned out, starting over, or wildly successful, the question is always the same: how to keep going. This book is a list of 10 things that have helped me. I wrote it primarily for writers and artists, but I think the principles apply to anyone trying to sustain a meaningful and productive creative life, including entrepreneurs, teachers, students, retirees, and activists. There are no rules, of course. Life is an art, not science. Your mileage may vary. Take what you need and leave the rest. Keep going and take care of yourself. I'll do the same." End quote. Kleon's Keep Going kicks off with a powerful message that sets the tone for a deep dive into creativity. After enjoying this book, I'm eager to discuss another of his works, Show Your Work, soon. So what's Keep Going all about? It's a guide to pushing through the inevitable bumps on the creative journey. Kleon shares 10 straightforward rules to help us stay creative and authentic, reminding us that the path to success is rarely linear. A key takeaway? Establish a daily routine because today is what matters most. Insight number 1. Every day is Groundhog Day. Quote, "The creative life is not linear. It's not a straight line from point A to point B. It's more like a loop or a spiral in which you keep coming back to a new starting point after every project. No matter how successful you get, no matter what level of achievement you reach, you will never really arrive. Other than death, there is no finish line or retirement for a creative person." End quote. Now that reminds me of how Jeff Bezos talks about the mindset at Amazon. He says, "It's always day one at Amazon." I love that. Just as Bezos uses this mantra to keep the company aligned with its core values, we can adopt the same approach in our lives, treating each day as day one as we pursue our goals. How about this great quote from Tal Ben-Shahar, where he says, quote, "Attaining lasting happiness requires that we enjoy the journey on our way toward a destination we deemed valuable. Happiness is not about making it to the peak of the mountain, nor is it about climbing aimlessly around the mountain. Happiness is the experience of climbing toward the peak." End quote. The only thing we can truly control in life is how we choose to spend our time during our brief stay on this earth. It's wise to determine what you will focus on and how dedicated you will be in pursuing it. Quote, "The best thing you can do if you want to make art is pretend you're starring in your own remake of Groundhog Day. Yesterday's over, tomorrow may never come, there's just today, and what you can do with it." End quote. Insight number 2, Your Bliss Station. Quote, "Creativity is about connection. You must be connected to others in order to be inspired and share your own work. But it is also about disconnection. You must retreat from the world long enough to think, practice your art, and bring forth something worth sharing with others. You must play a little hide and seek in order to produce something worth being found." End quote. Now let's talk about this awesome concept called the Bliss Station. Popularized by Joseph Campbell, it's all about finding your sweet spot for creativity, a place where you can really crank out your best work without distractions. But here's the cool part. Campbell says it's not just about where, but also when. It's like a sacred space-time combo for your creative mojo. I've totally nailed down my Bliss Station. In 2024, I'm rocking it at my desk from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. every morning. Why so early, you ask? Well, it's when I'm least likely to get interrupted. No need to waste energy dodging distractions. Quote, "If you're using your phone to wake up and it's ruining your mornings, try this. Before going to bed, plug your phone into an outlet across the room or somewhere out of arm's reach. When you wake up, try your best not to look at it. There are so many better ways to wake up. Head to your bliss station, eat breakfast, stretch, do some exercises, take a walk, run, listen to Mozart, shower, read a book, play with your kids, or just be silent for a bit." End quote. Unleashing creativity before reacting packs a powerful punch. A game-changing habit that I picked up from the Optimized Coach program? Make sure my first move after waking up is all about self-improvement and future-proofing. It's not about jumping to meet the world's demands. It's about prioritizing my growth and potential right off the bat. Please, give yourself this blessing. You will not regret it. Quote, "The phone gives us a lot, but it takes away 3 key elements of discovery: loneliness, uncertainty, and boredom. Those have always been where creative ideas come from." End quote. Insight number 3. Creative is not a noun. Quote, "Lots of people want to be the noun without doing the verb. They want the job title without the work. Let go of the thing you're trying to be, the noun, and focus on the actual work you need to be doing, the verb. Doing the verb will take you someplace further and far more interesting." End quote. That is so simple but spot on. I used to be that guy chasing titles, craving the glory without embracing the grind. That was a big mistake. Here is where many of us derail. My hard-learned lesson? Wishing for a better future is useless. Progress comes through action. No need for giant leaps, just consistent steps forward day after day. The bottom line? Don't wait for a fancy title to start doing the work. Just dive in and make something happen. Well, how do you do that? One option is to focus on creating value. Concentrate on how you can add value to your organization and colleagues, rather than on climbing the corporate ladder. Your impact will often speak louder than any title. Quote, "If and when you finally get to be the noun, when that coveted job title is bestowed upon you by others, don't stop doing the verb." End quote. You don't need a job title to start being great, because if you were to wait for the job title to get started, you may never actually begin the work. How tragic would that be? Insight number 4. Ignore the numbers. Quote, "Do what you love," cry the motivational speakers, but I think anybody who tells people to do what they love no matter what should also have to teach a money management course. Do what you love plus low overhead equals a good life. Do what you love plus I deserve nice things equals a time bomb. End quote. Here is a real nugget of wisdom. Want to quickly turn something you love into something you hate? Make it your job right away. Sure, the dream is to get paid for what you do for free, but don't rush it. There's no shame in keeping your day job while nurturing your creative passion on the side. Let it evolve naturally without the pressure of paying your bills. This way, you can enjoy your craft for what it is, allowing it to grow at its own pace. Quote, "Money is not the only measurement that can corrupt your creative practice. Digitizing your work and sharing it online means that it's subject to the world of online metrics, website visits, likes, favorites, shares, reblogs, retweets, follower counts, and more. It's easy to become as obsessed with online metrics as it is with money. It can then be tempting to use those metrics to decide what to work on next, without taking into account how shallow those metrics really are." End quote. Now let's talk about how easy it is to get hooked on those online numbers. We start obsessing over likes and comments, and before we know it, these vanity metrics are messing with our creative mojo. It's all your ego, nothing else. Kleon's got the right idea. Share your brilliance online without getting hung up on the stats. I am totally with him on this one. If you start basing your creative decisions on those meaningless internet points, you're going to suck all the fun and passion right out of the work. Trust me, it's a creativity killer. Quote, "When you ignore quantitative measurements for a bit, you can get back to qualitative measurements. Is it good? Really good? Do you like it? You can also focus more on what the work does that can't be measured, what it does to your soul." End quote. Now here's my honest take on social media. It really is a love-hate relationship for me. I'm on it, but I've set some serious boundaries to keep my creative juices flowing. I used to post daily, but that got addictive really quick. I'd catch myself constantly checking for likes and comments. I realized I was more obsessed with audience size than message quality. That was a huge mistake for me, and here's the truth. You don't need a massive following, just the right people who truly get your message. Quality over quantity, all day, every day. That is the real game changer. Insight number 5, pay attention. Quote, "It is easy to assume that if only you could trade your ordinary life for a new one, all your creative problems would be solved. All this is, of course, is wishful thinking. You do not need to have an extraordinary life to make extraordinary work. Everything you need to make extraordinary art can be found in your everyday life." End quote. The dilemma for most people is they don't give enough attention to the daily aspects of their own life. The very first step in transforming your life is to pay more attention to it. If you look at the ordinary aspects of your life and breathe new life into it each day, you can turn what today looks ordinary into the extraordinary, simply by increasing your awareness. William James wrote this back in 1890. He says, quote, "My experience is what I agree to attend to. Only those items which I notice shape my mind." End quote. Quote, "If art begins with where we point our attention, a life is made out of paying attention to what we pay attention to." End quote. So let's quickly shine the spotlight on you. What practice could you implement today that would help you pay more attention to your own life? Insight number 6. It's okay to change your mind. Quote, "You start each work not knowing exactly where you're going or where you'll end up. But hope is not about knowing how things will turn out. It is moving forward in the face of uncertainty. It's a way of dealing with uncertainty. Hope is an embrace of the unknown and the unknowable," writes Rebecca Smith. To have hope, you must acknowledge that you don't know everything and you don't know what's going to happen. That's the only way to keep going and the only way to keep making art. To be open to possibility and allow yourself to be changed." End quote. As I read that passage, it took me back to my own journey. For a very long time, I felt stuck because I was scared of the uncertainty. What if I tried something and it failed? That kind of self-talk led me to take no action at all. And 5 years later, I found myself wondering what happened. I really love this concept of embracing hope and getting used to the fact that certainty is never guaranteed. It's a freeing mindset. Let's talk about how obsessed we are with staying on brand these days. It's everywhere, online, offline, you name it. We're all walking on eggshells, afraid to change because we're worried about what others might think. Now, in making hope happen, Shane Lopez breaks down hope into 3 key parts. The first is goals. You need a future that gets you fired up. The second is agency. You've got to believe you can make that future happen. And the third is pathways. You need to know there are multiple routes to get there. This is the secret sauce for beating that fear of change and moving forward with hope. Set your goals, build up your belief in yourself, and remember, there's more than one way to skin a cat or reach your dreams. Insight number 7. Walk your way to creativity. Quote, "Walking is good for physical, spiritual, and mental health. No matter what time you get out of bed, go for a walk," said director Ingmar Bergman to his daughter, Lynn Ullman. "The demons hate it when you get out of bed. Demons hate fresh air." What I've learned on our morning walks is that, yes, walking is great for releasing inner demons, but maybe even more important, walking is great for battling our outer demons. The people who want to control us through fear and misinformation, the corporations, marketers, politicians, want us to be plugged into our phones or watching TV, because then they can sell us their vision of the world. End quote. There is something truly magical about walking, especially when you're completely unplugged from the world. It's in those moments those ideas start to flow, and life feels so much more fulfilling. I have said this many times before, and I'll say it again. If you don't have a daily walking practice, I highly encourage you to give it a try. It's a great way to incorporate movement into your day, and as Kleon says, quote, "Walking is a way to find possibility in your life when there doesn't seem to be any left." End quote. Insight number 8. Keep going. Quote, "Keep working, keep playing, keep drawing, keep looking, keep listening, keep thinking, keep dreaming, keep singing, keep dancing, keep painting, keep sculpting, keep designing, keep composing, keep acting, keep cooking, keep searching, keep walking, keep exploring, keep giving, keep living, keep paying attention. Keep doing your verbs, whatever they may be. Keep going." End quote. Those are the final words in the book. How brilliant is that? Keep doing that which brings out the best in you, and never stop. Keep going. That is a quick look at Keep Going by Austin Kleon. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and remember, stay curious and keep embracing the wonders of knowledge. Talk to you soon. You've been listening to Philosopher Insights with your host, Herb Lambert. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.